Raleigh, Durham's apartment market ranks among the country's big movers in 2015. The market's gaining some momentum with each passing quarter. Today, we're going to look at the influences on this market on apartment market dynamics from MPF Research. I'm Greg Willett, joined today by Cameron McIntosh. And Cameron, it's your first video for us. Welcome to the Apartment Market Dynamics team.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to be starting with North Carolina, which is my home state.
Well, let's start with the big headline story for the Raleigh-Durham area is the return of rent growth momentum. So walk us through those stats.
Absolutely, Greg. Effective rents for new leases jumped 2.5% during third quarter, taking the annual pace of growth up to 5.3%. That 5.3% is a year-over-year rent growth, which is back in line with the results that we saw in the first half of 2012. Those stats are much better than the performance seen in 2013 to 2014, when pricing power slowed notably over the metro and as it was trying to digest a lot of new supply.
Anything interesting in those rent growth numbers as we break it down by product niche?
There is actually, Greg. Specifically in the Class B segment, their numbers improved across the board. Here's a chart comparing today's annual rent growth to the numbers when momentum disappeared back in mid-2014. Class B rents are now rising at a 6% annual clip, while growth was just a bit below 4% in the Class A and Class C segments. Basically, flat rents registered in all three categories as of second quarter 2014. One more thing to point out is that operators have been increasing rents for expiring leases at about the same clip as rents for new tenants. That's about a 5% annual increase as of the last quarter.
Influencing the rent growth numbers in the Raleigh-Durham area, this is one place across the country where the construction volume has slowed down. We're getting a lot of new completions, but it is a much more manageable level than it was 12 to 24 months ago. Looking at some specifics here, we had properties totaling 1,004 units complete in Q3. That took deliveries in the year for the initial 3 quarters of the year to 3,728 units. That 3-quarter total is down 38% from 2014 completions in the January through September timeframe. And this easier to deal with new construction tally is going to continue for a while. Looking at ongoing building, we have 6,250 units underway. That's only a little bit more than half the recent peak of about 11,400 units that were under construction back in early 2014. But we really probably shouldn't be thinking of this market as an undersupplied one. It wouldn't be surprising, in fact, for construction starts to kick back up again in this one now that we see rent growth coming at a much more aggressive pace.
That's right, Greg. And talking about construction starts, let's look at occupancy for a moment. Occupancy across Raleigh-Durham's metro was about 94.6%. That's a very healthy level considering that there's still a considerable amount of supply that's in that initial lease-up stage. That occupancy performance isn't meaningfully different than the results seen across the metro for the last 5 or so years. Even with new supply pouring into the market at a more aggressive pace, the impact was really just seen in rent growth results, not in occupancy stats. Occupancy has managed to stay in the range about 94 to 95% through the current market cycle.
So not much variation on those overall occupancy numbers, but Cameron, there is a lot of variation in what we see by neighborhood, right?
Absolutely. At the top of the charts, occupancy surpasses 96% in far north Raleigh, East Durham, and the North Cary-Morrisville area. On the other hand, occupancy is a little weak in Chapel Hill-Carver area and is notably sluggish in the southwest Raleigh and northwest Durham, the downtown area.
Looking ahead, we like the prospects for the Raleigh-Durham apartment market. We think that occupancy is going to head upward a little bit over the next year or two in this one. At the same time, very solid rent growth results, 5% or better. So Cameron, you've made it through video number 1. Do the wrap-up for us.
Absolutely, Greg. This is Greg Willett. I am Cameron McIntosh, and thank you for watching Apartment Market Dynamics from MPF Research.
Want more? Go deeper with NPF Research's apartment market reports. From a national level, down to individual metros, to specific neighborhoods, MPF Research has been providing unparalleled apartment market intelligence to the multifamily industry for almost 5 decades. Learn more by contacting us at 877-284-4938 or visit www.npfresearch.com and click on Market Reports.